Welcome, everybody, to the Texas Association for College Admissions Counseling Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off so the panelists can see and hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to sign up for any additional sessions. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at stripescan.com/Texas. I'd now like to turn it over to our first presenter. So the University of Northern Colorado, can you please start us off?
Yeah, hi everyone. Let me just give me a second to share my screen. And I'm going to do the impossible, and I'm going to run through a presentation that is normally 20 minutes, and I'm going to do it in 6. So here we go. Hi everyone, I'm Ty with the University of Northern Colorado. I'm an admissions counselor, and I started about 7 months ago. And so I'm still fairly new to UNC, but I hope I can give you all some pretty good information here today. A little bit about UNC. Our average class size is about 27 students. We have a student population of about 12,000, so about 9,000 undergraduate students and 3,000 graduate students. Our student to faculty ratio is 17:1, which is fairly low. We do that intentionally because we really want our students to have an opportunity to engage with their faculty in meaningful ways. And so when I say meaningful ways, I mean in hands-on experience, volunteer experience, and internships. 72% of our students actually participate in some sort of service learning project over the course of their time at UNC. And so that's something that we really value and something we love about our education here. We originated as a state normal school, which means we actually were a teacher school, originated just teaching teachers how to teach. And now we are in 2021 and we offer over 100 undergraduate programs. And so that includes majors, minors, certificates, and even more graduate programs. So total, we have about 212 programs here at UNC. We rank highly. 89% of our graduating seniors say that they're either very satisfied or extremely satisfied with their academic experience. And so we score pretty high on learning and effective teaching. And like I said, about 72% of our students engage in some sort of community service, internship, or research opportunity with their faculty. We actually have a little more than 32. This is about a year old, but we actually have 34 resource and cultural centers. Our Career Readiness Center helps with resumes, cover letters, finding a job, finding mentorship, and various other things. And then we also have our cultural centers, which are going to be related to student identity. And so those are going to come, for example, our Asian Pacific American Student Services, our Cesar Chavez Cultural Center, Marcus Garvey. And that is not an all-encompassing list, obviously, of all of our resource and cultural centers that we offer for our students, but we do really value the intersectionality of our student identities. And so we try to provide those students with plenty of opportunities. 50% of our student base is first generation. And so we make sure that our resource and cultural centers are set up to really assist our first generation students in navigating the college experience. We have over 150 clubs and student organizations. And so those range anywhere from special interest clubs. We have like an ice cream eating club, a pie club. And so some of those kind of special interests. We have a Magic the Gathering club, Yu-Gi-Oh! You can pretty much name it. And if you can't name it, you can make it. We also have our wellness club. So in the bottom left, you'll kind of see our yoga club in action, and they kind of meet pretty frequently. And then we also have our social fraternities and sororities. And so Greek life is also fairly active at the UNC campus as well. We have 17 Division I NCAA sports teams. And so if you're kind of interested in that, we certainly have them playing at the most competitive level, traveling nationally, sometimes even internationally to compete. So obviously you see our basketball team here, but we also have our football team, our hockey team, and various other kind of Division I teams, including our women's swim and dive, and just, I could keep going, We also have 40 plus intramural and club sports. And so if you don't necessarily compete at the Division I team, but you still love athletics and want to compete, we have opportunities for that. Some of our intramurals still travel across the state and sometimes even nationally to compete. And our club sports are something really fun you can just do on the weekend with a friend. We have a really popular club sport called Battleship, where you get in kayaks and the goal is to sink each other's kayaks by filling them with water. So that's a pretty popular one. UNC is located in Greeley, Colorado, which is in the kind of northeastern corner of Colorado. We're about an hour and 15 minutes away if you're driving the speed limit from Denver. And so from your metro area, your nearest metro area, really. about an hour and a half from Rocky Mountain National Park, which I unfortunately have not had the privilege of being able to attend because I've been in Colorado for 7 months and it was on fire for like 4 of them, and now it's really cold. But I hear it's really beautiful and I'm excited to go once it's actually, I can walk around without shivering to death. And then we're about 3 hours away from some of our mountain ski resorts. So that's going to be like Aspen, Breckenridge, and places like that. So what I like about Greeley is that you kind of get that small town feel, but you're also close enough to the metro to where if you want to take a day trip, you certainly have the opportunity to do that. We do require our out-of-state students to live on campus, and so that would be all of you. To accommodate that, we have about 17 residence halls on campus housing 3,000 students, and that ranges from tier 1, which is going to be your most traditional dorm style living, all the way to tier 6, which is going to be kind of our most luxurious suite style living. We have residential learning communities, which changed their name to residential connections, but they kind of serve the same purpose, which is essentially if you want to live with people of the same major or same interest, you can indicate that on your housing contract. And sometimes we fill up whole floors or even whole buildings with like nursing majors, for example. So that's something that's kind of exciting. And then we also have like 10 plus dining locations on campus. So we have 3 of our dining halls and then about some retail locations like Einstein, Subway. We have a sushi place on campus, a Munchie Mart, which is basically a gas station without the gas. Looking at non-resident fees, that number on the right for Texas residents is going to be close to about $40K a year. And that is all inclusive, assuming absolutely no financial aid. So that's going to include tuition, housing, meals, transportation, going to the movies, anytime you feel like going out to eat. That is really an all-inclusive, assuming no financial aid, which is pretty unlikely because we do have about 90% of our students receive financial aid. We have 2 different types of UNC specific financial aid, our admission-based scholarships, which is going to be merit-based, so off your high school GPA. And so that is automatically applied to your account depending on your high school GPA, and you don't have to apply for it. It just counts as a tuition discount. And we also have our UNC scholarship application, which is about a 60-question questionnaire that applies you for all of our scholarships at UNC that you would be eligible for based on that. And then we also have our FAFSA, obviously, which is going to be for all institutions. In terms of applying, we do have a $50 application fee, but if you love UNC on April 1st, we're having a free application day. So if you apply on April 1st, we will waive that fee. First year students, you'll submit your transcripts. We are not requiring test scores currently for fall 2021, so ignore that information right there. And we have our Bear app, which is our UNC specific app, and the Common app, which is obviously going to be if you are interested in other schools and want to apply to multiple schools. All right, I ran through that super quick. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to go ahead and put my contact information in the chat so that you all can reach out to me if you have any additional questions. And I'm going to get to some of the Q&A questions that I kind of saw pop up earlier as well. Hopefully that I'll be able to answer, but let me know if you have any other questions, y'all, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ty. So next up, we're going to have the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs.
Hi everyone, welcome. I'm not sure if you could see my screen. I was having some problems earlier. All right. Well, thanks once again. My name is Annalise. I am from the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. We are a part of the CU system. We have only about 10,000 undergraduate students, 12,000 students total. So we are kind of considered that small, medium size. We have a 16:1 student to faculty ratio and an average class size of just 25 students. We do have a lot of different majors. I've listed our 6 different colleges up on the screen so you can kind of take a look and see what we have to offer. One of our most unique programs is called our Bachelor of Innovation, and we're the only school in the world to offer this. So essentially it takes one of our majors, and instead of receiving a BA or a BS, you'll receive a BI. And it has a set of core requirements, all having to do with entrepreneurship and innovation courses. So for example, we have a music major under the BI. So if you're interested in music recording or music management, you would do it in the BI instead of getting a BA in music. So some really neat programs there, lots of hands-on experience too. We do have undergraduate research opportunities for students. Our professors love when students like to get involved. So if you have any questions, ask them about their work because they love to talk about it and they love to share it with you. We also have internships and clinicals available for students. So if you are in criminal justice, you can get an internship. We have clinicals for our nursing students. We've even had some of our students who are interested in physical therapy or pre-med intern with our Olympians. We are located, in Colorado Springs, as I mentioned, which is where the Olympic headquarters are, as well as the Olympic Training Center. We also just built a brand new Hibble Sports Performance Center. So again, those of you who are doing any kind of pre-med, pre-physical therapy, human physiology and nutrition, we have brand new state-of-the-art medical equipment that you'll be working with. We partnered with Centura Health, so they also have a clinic inside of our building. So you're going to be getting a lot of hands-on experience. We are a D2 university, so we do offer athletic scholarship. We do have both men and women's teams. We also have club sports and intramural sports. So if you're not at the D2 level, you can find other ways to get active and play other sports. We do have something called our Soul Office, which is my favorite part of UCCS. It's our student outdoor learning experience. So for those of you who really love to explore Colorado, for those of you who maybe haven't been to Colorado, but you do want to explore, this office has different discounted trips for students. So you can go to our Ski and Soak, which is skiing and snowboarding all day, hitting the hot springs on the way back. You can go sledding at the sand dunes, go snowshoeing, backpacking, hiking, pretty much pick something in Colorado, and this office makes it so that you can do it. We also have over 200 different clubs and organizations, and we do host a lot of events throughout the year. So our student life is very active in Colorado. Again, kind of being that small, medium-sized school, you do get a lot of community, and we make sure that everybody really loves to get involved with everything we have going on. You will be required to live on campus as a first-year student, but we only have suite-style dorms, and they are all-inclusive, so it comes with an all-you-can-eat meal plan, as well as a parking pass, and then laundry is free all 4 years if you do decide to stay on campus. We have 11 different dorm plans, and you'll only be sharing a bathroom with up to 5 other people. So that's a great perk about all of our dorms. We also have different ways that you can be successful as a student. So we have tutoring opportunities. We have a wellness center and a recreation center because we believe in holistic health. So it's not just about physical health, it's about mental health. We also have academic advisors who will be working with you throughout your 4 years in Colorado to kind of help make sure you're on the career path that you want. So as far as tuition and scholarships, we do offer an automatic merit-based scholarship for our out-of-state students. So it's called the PEAK Award. If you have a 3.0 GPA plus 23 ACT or 1130 SAT, you'll receive that award. We have not decided whether we're going test optional for fall 2022 yet, but we are test optional for fall 2021. We do have rolling admissions, so for any of you who are seniors, we are still taking applications. You can apply either on the Common App or on our institutional app. But otherwise, we are also having in-person tours. We've gone to in-person the rest of this semester and hope to be as in-person as possible next year. So if you do end up coming to Colorado, definitely stop by our campus. Otherwise, we are having virtual events, and you can do a guided tour online with one of our class guides. So if y'all have any questions, I'll put my information in the chat, but otherwise I look forward to talking with you further. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Annalise. Next up, we're going to have Fort Worth Lewis College.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I am starting to share my screen. Hopefully y'all can see it soon. My name is Alexa. I'm one of the admission counselors at Fort Lewis College, and I'm just going to get started by telling you a little bit about where we're located. So Fort Lewis College is located in Durango, Colorado. So we are in the southwest corner of Colorado. See where that gold star is. So a lot of students ask, especially coming from Texas, how close are you to Denver? We're not very close to Denver at all. Actually, we're on a 6.5 to 7 hour drive away from Denver. We're honestly closer to those four corner states. So for instance, Moab, Utah is about 2.5 hours away from us. Grand Canyon in Arizona is around 6.5 hours away from us. New Mexico is only 30 minutes away from us. So we're really in that four corners area. And we are that quintessential, when you think of a small mountain town, that is Durango, Colorado. So that's a little bit about where we're located. Durango in itself is around 18,000 people total. So a pretty small mountain town. We have over 300 hiking and biking trails within 30 miles of campus. We sit right in the San Juan National Forest. So These mountains are right in your backyard. That's a picture taken right from campus. As a student, it's really easy to get around Durango and get around campus as well. We give all of our students a free bus pass as well. So if you want to bring a car, awesome, but you don't have to. A lot of students ask, how can I take a trip to Durango as well? We do have an airport, so you can fly directly into Durango if you would like to. A lot of students from Texas opt to drive as well. So depending on where you're coming from, it could be anywhere from 8 hours to 13 to 16. I'm originally from the DFW area, so that's around a 13-hour drive. But you can fly in if you want to as well. We also are firm believers in, you got to love where you live in college, right? Clearly, all of y'all are interested in Colorado because that's why you're at this presentation. Colorado is amazing, and we're firm believers in that. That's why we give all of our first-year students a free season pass to Purgatory Mountain Resorts, which is our ski resort in Durango, Colorado. It's about 25 to 30 minutes away from the town of Durango. And now I'm going to kind of transition into just some of the student demographics of Fort Lewis, what you're going to look at when you come to our campus. So we sit at about 6,800 feet in elevation. So if you're going to come to visit us, definitely drink a lot of water. Don't hike a 14 or your first day here. Definitely make sure that you get acclimated to the weather and to the altitude. We have around 47 states represented as well, so a good mix. 53% of our students identify as students of color as well, so we have a variety of different cultural resource centers, initiatives, events to support all of our students and educate all of our students as well. And then we also have 173 Native American and Alaska Native tribes represented on our campus. We offer something called the Native American Tuition Waiver, which waives tuition for any student that qualifies, so we have an amazing representation for our Native population as well. This slide just goes a little bit more in depth into what your student structure, your student classes are going to look like. So at Fort Lewis, pretty small school, around 3,300 students total. So your average class size is going to be around 20 to 23 students. And we really like to keep it at that small class sizes because our professors, they really want to genuinely get to know you. And also it's just an easier way to get to know your peers as well when you have those smaller class sizes. And so again, we keep it at that 16 to 1 student faculty ratio. Also, 100% of our classes are taught by our faculty members, not by grad level students or teaching assistants. So from your freshman year to your senior year, it's going to be taught by a faculty member and professor. This slide just kind of chats a little bit about our areas of study. We have a variety of different areas of study, 56 majors, 46 minors, lots of ways to mix and match. I'll say some of our more popular majors that students come in for Fort Lewis is going to be adventure education, geology, anthropology, engineering, our health science as well, also our communication degrees as well in business. But this is just a few of our different areas of study. There'll be more information on our website if you check out our website as well. Now, overall, in terms of our academics, we really hone in, kind of similar to some of these other institutions as well, we really hone in on the experiential learning because you're in Colorado. We're firm believers in there's only so much you can learn by sitting in a lecture-based setting and flipping through a book page by page, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? A little bit boring. Are you really absorbing that information? And so we want you to get outside of the classroom to learn. And so these are just some examples of how our students are getting outside of the classroom to learn. And we guarantee that you'll have at least one class every semester called our X classes or experiential learning classes that it will actually be outside of that typical lecture-based setting. And finding a community as well whenever you're in college. I'm sure everyone can agree with that. And so at Fort Lewis, we have over 60 different clubs and organizations. We are a Division II school. So if you're looking at athletics, we do have that at a varsity level. If there's any cyclists that are listening as well, we have the #2 mountain biking team nation. We have a really great cycling team, so it's a really great opportunity for those students as well. Also great intramurals, but overall, a variety of ways that you can get involved on our campus. Next up, really quickly, just to go over the admission really quickly at Fort Lewis, we have our own application on our website. We're not through the Common App or any of those types of organizations. We have our own application. It's usually $40, but for visitors, we waive it for free. So I'll put the fee waiver code in the chat for y'all. We are test optional, so we're not going to require an ACT or SAT. What we do require is your high school transcript. So we're going to look at your cumulative GPA to see if you're admissible to Fort Lewis. And right there, you'll see that's kind of the middle 50% of our students. But we have, 25% of our students below and 25 above that as well. I highlight really quickly our scholarships as well. So we do have some merit-based scholarships based on your cumulative GPA in high school. So as you can see, for out-of-state students, it ranges from $6,000 all the way to $10,000. So our out-of-state tuition is around $17,000. So if you're going to qualify for any of those, that's going to reduce your tuition significantly at Fort Lewis as well. What's great with these, you don't even have to apply for them. Once we get your high school transcript, we'll automatically consider you for these merit-based scholarships. This slide is just highlighting just some other different ways to save. The one portion I will highlight on this slide is, again, I mentioned it earlier, the Native American tuition waiver. So if you do qualify for that, let me know. And last but not least, we are open for in-campus tours. So I'm going to pop my information into the chat. If you're curious about visiting our campus, we would love to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up on our list, we have Colorado State College.
Hi. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I don't actually have a presentation. I'm just joined by one of my colleagues here, Colin Hill. Colin, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Colin. I'm currently a third-year student studying chemical and biological engineering, and I'm from Grapevine, Texas, so the DFW area as well.
And I'm so grateful that folks are taking some time to tune in. I know for sure I'm zoomed out, so I appreciate you all. My name is David. I'm an admissions counselor. My pronouns are he, him, and his. Colorado State University is located in Fort Collins. If you're not familiar with that area, you can use my window as a map where my nose is Denver and the top of my forehead is Fort Collins. Fort Collins is a college town. We have over 600 restaurants. We still have a drive-in movie theater. There is still much to do. And students, I highlight this city because very much a lot of your experience is going to be shaped by the city in which you're in. And there's a lot to do here. Colin, what's your favorite things to do at CSU in Fort Collins before we get there?
One of my favorite things to do for sure is to go visit Horsetooth and drive around up there because just west of Fort Collins, I mean, like it's pretty much in Fort Collins still. Basically, you have a big reservoir up there where you have a great view of the foothills, and you have this Horsetooth Rock, which is a super common place for students to hike. But it's also a really great view. It's a good place to hang out with friends, picnic, swim, or anything like that as well.
I was literally hiking there actually this past weekend. So we'll zoom into Colorado State University. And for you to know who we are, first and foremost, you need to know what we stand for. And this started about 5 years ago with our principles of community. We have 5. It is integrity, inclusion, respect, service, and social justice. And I bring up those principles of community because we get asked, like, what's the vibe? What is campus like? And our campus is very welcoming. It's a very inviting place. And I think it's because of those principles. And we have a phrase on campus called Rams take care of Rams. So Colorado State has 74 academic majors at CSU. Some of the most popular are biology, chemistry, some engineering, business, as well as some of the other specific science ones, as we do have folks who are going into a pre-vet track. Colin, what's your major?
Yeah, so mine is chemical and biological engineering.
Okay, that's a lot. So how did you end up picking that major?
Well, it's a really long story to begin with, but in general, I ended up picking that major because I'm a really big fan of the sciences, and my brain is definitely more math and science based than reading and writing based as well. And so I ended up kind of taking some tests in high school to figure out where I wanted to be. And when I fell in love with engineering, I also was like, let's do chemical engineering. So here I am.
And Colin, am I just an admissions counselor blowing smoke, or is the campus really friendly?
Oh, the campus is seriously one of the most friendly places I've been in. I frequently get asked, what's my favorite part about being a Ram? And one of the best things is for sure being on campus and being with the other students, because the community that CSU makes up, but also in collaboration with Fort Collins, is seriously such a great place. The entire area of Fort Collins as well is super supportive of all the students. This means when you walk around on campus, or you're walking around at Old Town Fort Collins, this means people are going to hold doors for you. People are going to wave at you. People are going to say hello. They're going to ask where you're from and how you're doing pretty much all the time.
And while we do study hard, we also play hard. So we have tons of different clubs that students can get involved with. My favorite one is a new one that was just created, and it's called Knits of the Round Table, and it is just a knitting club. But if you can't necessarily find what you're looking for, create it. It only takes 3 people in a dream to start a club on campus. That's actually how we ended up with Fans of North Dakota. It's a real club here. I'm not sure necessarily their day-to-day activities. But one of the really cool opportunities available at CSU is called Semester at Sea. Now, any college that you go to, you can apply into Semester at Sea. The reason I highlight it specific to CSU is because we have the academic partnership with them. And Semester at Sea is similar to the TV show The Sweet Life on Deck with Zach and Cody, where you're taking classes on board and you have the opportunity to travel to multiple different countries and continents. I think the upcoming voyages are 100 days, 10 countries, 5 continents. But Colin, how are you involved on campus?
Well, there's plenty of ways to get involved in general. One of the best things is intramural sports. We'd love to talk about this one, but it's going to be inner tube water polo. Basically, it's fun where you hang out with friends, you float around inner tubes, and you throw a ball around. I've heard nothing but great things about that. Other ways to get involved in our campus are absolutely joining those clubs, and like some other colleges as well. If you can't, if you can't find a club you're looking for, go ahead and make one. I think the last number I'd heard was like over 450 plus, but I'm pretty sure we're now over 500 clubs, or at least we're getting there for sure. And lots of different clubs and organizations there. I'm pretty sure there's even like a Netflix club, like Harry Potter club. And seriously, there's clubs for anyone. And once again, if you can't think of it, go ahead and make it.
And as we wrap up, one of the things I like talking to students about is we do a hybrid model of like, we are working hard to make sure that you understand the material, but then also have the opportunity to apply it. My favorite example of this, well, actually more than one. So in the College of Business, we have students investing real dollars in the stock market. If you are interested in a pre-health field, we actually have a human cadaver lab on our campus. We get about 6 cadavers a year, and our cadaver to student ratio is about 4 students to 1. So you have those hands-on opportunities. But again, one of the things that I found about CSU and my experience as an alumni is what I have decided to coin 360 degrees of development, meaning that every single thing that you're doing, whether it's in the classroom, whether you're working on campus, we are pushing you, right? Our staff members recognize that when we hire a student, we're hiring a future professional. Our faculty members treat our students as soon to be colleagues, right? It's a serious level of development there, and our students are leaving with a really enriching experience. I'm going to go ahead and leave my contact information in the chat. Unfortunately, I am right at time. Whew. I really do appreciate everyone's time. And Colin, thanks so much for your time as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, David and Colin. So next up on our list, we're going to have our representative from Colorado Mesa University.
Alrighty, so my name is Alexander and I'm from Colorado Mesa University. We are located in Grand Junction, Colorado. So that is Western Colorado, and the weather out here is pretty great. It's not as cold as the Front Range. However, we still do get snow out here, but in the summers, we still get into triple digit weather. And I'm from Texas myself. I'm from El Paso, Texas. So it's a great place to be for Texans, and it's a smooth transition if you are looking to come out here to Colorado. A little bit about our university. We have over 11,000 students. So we fit right into that small, medium range size school. And those students come from 35 countries and 47 states. So you really get that diversity if that's what you're looking for. For me, culture, learning about other cultures is really important, and you definitely get that out here at CMU. We also have 114 majors that range from certificate up to your doctoral level degrees. So if you're passionate about something, we have that here for you at CMU. We're really big on personalized attention and support. With that, 88% of our classes have less than 40 students. We have 0 teaching assistants and 1 to 21 faculty to student ratio. So similar to the other schools, we also really harp on that really personalized attention and that support that the professors can give you when you're not just another number to them. However, they actually get to know you on a personal level. So that's one of the things that stood out for me here. And I'm sure that once you get out here on campus, you'll realize that too. The faculty and the staff out here really care about you as a student. These are some of the departments that those programs fall into. Some of the most popular ones are business, engineering, health sciences, social and behavioral sciences. Those are some of just the big departments, but again, with 114 plus programs, whatever you're passionate in, I'm sure we can find something that's a perfect fit for you. Similar to what the other schools are saying as well, hands-on experience really is very important. And so with that, we offer that through undergraduate research, clinicals, internships, so on and so forth. As far as hands-on experience, we have a body farm. We're one of the only, there's only 7 schools total in the US that have a body farm, and we are one of them. Essentially, that's where if you're interested in like forensic science, you can go out and study those decomposing bodies. Super interesting. We also have a hotel that was just built on campus. We have our sports facilities to where you can really get those in-depth analysis of athletes, so on and so forth. So here we really do believe in that hands-on experience, and we have the facilities to back that up. A little bit about Grand Junction itself. Like I said, it's pretty sunny out here most of the time. We have over 300 days of sunshine. However, we do get snow, and the closest ski resort is only 40 minutes away. That is Powderhorn Ski Resort. So if you're into skiing or snowboarding, or you would like to get into it, We offer really great discounted prices for students. So really great opportunity for you to get outdoors if that's what you want to do. And then we also have 1,200 plus miles of hiking trails. That's for sure one of the most popular activities out here in Grand Junction. So it's definitely something really awesome. Being from El Paso, it's pretty flat out there, but coming out here, hiking really is something that's super fun, and it just allows you to connect with the outdoors. Like the other universities, we do require that you stay on campus your first year. So with that, we have 13 different residence halls you can choose from, with over 2,500 students on campus. We also have a ton of clubs and organizations. Just like the other universities are saying, if you're interested in something and you want to be included in a group, chances are we have that for you. If we don't, you can start that club yourself and really get to meet with like-minded people. So tons of opportunities for you to be included in the community if you'd like to. We are a D2 university. Our sports teams are really great. I played football here for 4 years. 3 of those 4 years, we won our conference. Our men's basketball team just won conference last week. So our sports are really great. And if you're looking to get into that kind of atmosphere, we can offer that here for you at CMU. We also have our club sports and intramural sports if that NCAA level isn't for you. So tons of ways for you to stay active and pursue sports if that's something that you choose to do. Again, we want to be with our students as much as we can. So with that, you will have a faculty advisor, which is a professor from your department of study that is appointed as your advisor. They have open office hours and they really make it a point to get back to you and give you whatever feedback you need. So if you need help figuring out your schedule for next semester, if you're curious about why you're taking certain courses, we can provide all that information for you and make sure that you stay on track to graduate on time. We also have our Student Wellness Center and our counseling services. So obviously mental health is very important. And if you ever need any help with that, we offer those services for you here. Super huge, and I definitely highly recommend that you take advantage of those if you need them. We are the third lowest tuition and fees among four-year Colorado colleges, and we offered over $79 million in financial aid last year, and over half of our first-time students received some sort of merit scholarship. So if you are interested in CMU, I'll make sure to drop my information down below, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Alexander. And last but not least, we have Colorado College.
Thanks, Alvaro. Hey everybody, my name is Cody Leong, and I'm an admission counselor at Colorado College. I recently joined, but I'm also lucky to say that I'm a recent alumnus of Colorado College as well, having graduated just this past May. And I just wanted to thank you guys for taking the time to join us. And I just wanted to touch on a few different things that I think show the unique perspective that we have here at CC. So actually, let me share my screen. Great, so just to jump into it, first off, I want to talk about a location. Like University of Colorado Springs, we're also located in the city of Colorado Springs, which is about an hour south of Denver. We're a liberal arts college located like here in Colorado Springs, and we're located right in the heart of the Rocky Mountain West. And I think that's worth noting because most liberal arts goes on the East and West Coast, and there's actually not a lot of them here in the center of the country. A nice thing about being in Colorado Springs, which has about 700,000 people living here, that it has everything that you need from a big city, such as it has a ton of amazing restaurants. We're located a 10-minute walk from downtown Colorado Springs, so it's very easy to walk into town for a meal. And also there's plenty of things to do on weekends as well. Also, Colorado Springs has fantastic access to the outdoors, as you can see in this photo right here. We live right in the shadow of Pikes Peak, which is known as America's Mountain. The woman who wrote America the Beautiful was actually a professor at Colorado College when she wrote that, which I thought was cool to mention. But also being in Colorado Springs, it's really easy to get outside. The city has over 300 miles of trails within the city limits, and that's one of the most popular activities for students to take part in. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about the campus and the students that call it home. We have a campus that's very easily walkable. It's about 20 minutes from end to end, and it's home to the majority of CC's 2,200 students, which I believe that puts us in the very small category after hearing the numbers from some other colleges here. And what that means is that it produces a very, very tight-knit community, and this extends into the classroom as well. We pride ourselves on our small class sizes. The average size of a class is 16, and the student to faculty ratio is 10 to 1. And this allows you to get to know not just your fellow students, but also your professors as well. It's very common for students to be on a first name basis with their professors. And many cases, professors will have meals at will have students in their class over to meals at their houses in order to get to know them better. What I'd really like to talk about is perhaps CC's most unique characteristic, which is the block plan. And we're one of 2 schools in the entire nation that operates under this plan. And you may ask, what is the block plan? In short, what the block plan is you take one class at a time rather than taking multiple at the same time. And that one block, you're in class for 3 hours a day for 3.5 weeks. And that's the only class you're in for that entire time. You take 4 blocks a semester for a total of 8 blocks in an academic year. So you are still taking the same course and credit load that you would at any other college or university. This has some inherent advantages. It really allows you to do a deep dive on the subject of any course that you may be in. You could do a study on an author's entire body of work, or do a really deep dive on some specific aspect of biology. And you can do all of this without having to balance several courses at once. On the block plan, you'll never have to prioritize studying for studying for a final exam over writing another paper or something similar. In addition, this means that you don't have a finals week at the end of the semester, as all of your final projects and assignments as well, you'll have done them throughout the course of the semester. You may wonder, why is each block only 3.5 weeks? Where did the other half week go? After the conclusion of each block, it ends at 12 o'clock on Wednesday. You have the second half of Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and the weekend, and you have a 4.5-day block break, and that's up to you what you want to do with it. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Next, I'd like to talk a little about the playground that we're able to call home. As I mentioned earlier, we're located right in the heart of the Rocky Mountain West, which grants us ample opportunities to be able to take learning beyond the classroom and through different field study programs. For example, say you're taking a geology class. What better way to learn geology than taking a week-long field trip outside of Colorado Springs and through the entire American Southwest? And you can see with your own eyes and touch with your own hands the rocks that you're learning about in person. Another advantage that the block plan offers is, in this case, because everybody is operating on that same 3.5 week block plan schedule, you'll never have to worry about schedule conflicts with other classes as a result of that. This flexibility also extends to studying abroad as well. Say you don't have the flexibility in your schedule to take an entire semester abroad. That's no problem at all, as you can take 1 or 2 blocks abroad, and those are also offered during the summer. And what this means is that a majority of students take part in programs such as this. 80% of our student body during their time at CC studies abroad, and 100% of students will participate in some kind of class that has a field study component, which serves to show how great it is in our curriculum. But one more thing that I'd like to talk about before you guys go is what, in my opinion, is my favorite part of the campus. And as a former student, I believe that one of CC's strongest aspects is its very tight-knit community. And that 4.5-day block break that I mentioned before, it's up to you to what you want to do with it. You could go camping with your friends. You would go hang out up in Denver for a few days, but you can also engage with the larger CC community. And every year we have over 130 trips that are sent out through our outdoor education program, and every single one of those trips is led by student leaders. And in that case, you can become one of those as well if you'd like, or you would go on a service trip with one of the 120 active students and organizations we have. And if you'd like to meet some members of our community, I invite you to take part in one of our many virtual engagement sessions that we have available. I will drop my contact information in the chat. But thank you. That's Colorado College in short. And thanks again.
Thank you, Cody. So we have a little bit of time left before we end this presentation. And I'm going to project a quick question to share with our audience. And we're going to go one by one so that our panelists can go ahead and answer them. And we'll start off with the University of Northern Colorado. And the question is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process?
Hi, sorry, was this, I may have missed this. Was this in an order? Were we doing this in order?
Yeah, sorry about that. So we're doing this in order. Yeah, so you'll go first and then I'll go on to the next institution.
Great. So advice for someone going through the college search process. I definitely think the college search process is intimidating, right? And especially if you're a first generation student, we have no idea what that looks like for each of our individual students. And I think a lot of the times we advertise the college search process as something where you're supposed to highlight very specific things related to like just academics or just extracurriculars or just volunteer experience. And I think that a lot of college admissions counselors really want to know what makes you you, which can include things outside of that, right? So that can include, sure, something that you love to do is volunteer your time at XYZ place, but what do you also do when you're not volunteering or working? Like, where does your mind kind of go? Where does it drift? And, we kind of want to hear about the things that make you tick, and we want to kind of hear about that in personal statements or personal essays and things. And that's really going to make you stand out, I think, at least from my perspective as someone who reviews applications. And so that's my advice.
Great. Thank you so much for that. University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, do you have an answer for this?
Yeah, hey guys. So I would just say make sure you have fun with it because college is really fun and it's going to be a really exciting time in your life. It can be really stressful, but try to make it as fun as possible. Also, just one tip I tell people, it's okay to go in undecided. So even though a lot of people are looking for different colleges based on their major, I changed my major 3 times. I still got out in 4 years, so it's okay to do that. But don't be focused just on one university. Also, if you're undecided, and you're really freaked out by all the majors that everybody has, print off their major list online and take a big black Sharpie and cross off everything that you would absolutely hate. I know that I crossed out all of math and science and some other things, and the list looks just a lot more doable if you do it that way. So have fun and don't be too freaked out if you're undecided or if you don't know what major you want.
Awesome. Thank you. Fort Lewis College, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Yeah, absolutely. I always recommend, if you're able to, visit the campuses that you're interested in. I know in this day and age that can be a little bit tricky, so also try and take advantage of the virtual options. I'm sure every single one of these colleges that are here today have a variety of virtual options to connect with your counselors, to chit chat with us. We love to talk to y'all. That's why this is our job. So go ahead and look at those campus visit options. Try to visit us in person or try to take advantage of those virtual options as well.
Awesome. Thank you for that advice. Colorado State University, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, of course. Someone who went through this process really not too long ago, honestly, I would definitely recommend taking advantage of either those virtual options or those in-person options so that you can make sure it's a good fit for you. Don't force yourself to go to university because you feel like you need to go there to have, be with your friends or because your family's going to force you to be there. Go where you really want to go. And while I feel that you would be honestly fit in perfectly here at Colorado State University, I also understand that if that's not it for you, that's totally fine as well. And then from the student side as well, also keep like a spreadsheet of all your passwords and usernames and stuff, because when you apply to multiple universities, you're going to forget those.
That's some great advice there. Colorado Mesa University, anything else to add?
Oh yeah, for sure. I agree with pretty much what everyone else said. The only thing I would add is to trust your gut. You're going to have people that want to try to make this decision for you, but just trust yourself and do what you think is best for you, and it will work out.
Awesome. Some quick and sound advice. And last but not least, Colorado College, anything else you'd like to add?
I just like to say I completely agree with everything that has been said already, but also just when the college search process, don't apply to places just because say they have name recognition or you heard something about it. Like put some research in and make sure it's a place that you really want to be. And as somebody else said before, take advantage of virtual engagement opportunities. In some places, they give you the ability to interview or speak to students personally. And I think that's really valuable because there's nothing like, I guess we can tell you all you want, but hearing from a student is really where it's at.
Got it. Thank you so much, everybody. Just in the interest of time, we're going to have to wrap up this presentation, but I want to say thank you for joining us. When you close out this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate it if you could provide us with any feedback. Also, this is just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for any additional sessions. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording, as well as all the other sessions recording at strivescan.com/Texas. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day. Great job, folks.
Thank you for facilitating this, Alvaro.
Absolutely. See you later, Cody.
Have a good rest of your evening. Bye.
Bye.